Hey there, Chris Severs here. I'm here today at First Step Fitness with Vishal Kumar, and we're going to continue this series today on cross-body work, rotational work using elastic resistance. Today I'm going to show you a few ideas for working what I call the four corners. We're talking about those slings of core that allow you to basically work and stabilize and move cross-body or contralateral movements from high-low, from low to high. It's very interesting work. It's not the type of thing you're typically getting when you're doing a lot of crunches, and it's the type of work that is really well done with anchor point training and with resistance bands. My favorite way to work with resistance bands is with what I call a high-low anchoring. That is one end of resistance high and another end of resistance low, because it allows you to get that range of motion and resistance in a lot of different dimensions. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to set that up with some of the gear that we have here at First Step Fitness. To start, I've got a couple of these long rubber bands. These are the hoops that you see in a lot of gyms. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to loop one around this vertical anchor here, Vishal, and then I'm going to loop another one low, all right? And now what I'm going to do is I've got this long handle piece here with a carabiner. I'm just going to hook the carabiner through these two bands here, and what that gives me is a high-low anchor configuration now that I can resist at resistance high, resistance low. I've got a lot of dimensions of resistance. This is a these are a couple of pretty strong bands we've got going here. You notice the higher I go, the more, then the more down I got. So as you change these anchor positions, right, you can create a greater, greater range of motion for your resistance in your down or you're up. And you can see, again, because it's elastic resistance, the further out you come, the more resistance you've got. Yeah. So there's your high-low with just a long handle and a strap. And then you have this other tool here. This is a tool called force band. In this case, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take these two long handles at the end, and I'm going to loop the other end through. So now the handles are looped through the strap, and now I can basically just take one of these ends here and I can loop it through here, and now I've got a high-low single end of resistance in high and low. If I wanted to work two handles here, as you can see, I can obviously do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doubles it up. Yeah. But if you want to work a single end, again, you've got that same capability basically to create that, and that's going to give you more elements. So grab your strap. Yours is a little stronger. First thing we've got going here. Okay, so we can work. Notice for example, right now you'll see I'm parallel to the anchor, right? I've got my resistance coming right across my body. I can just bring it out and put it in front, right? And this is our pal-off press. We can do all kinds of great, when we do the circles with this high-low configuration. In the last video I showed you the idea of these circles in different dimensions, right, with a single anchor point. Right. When we have the high-low, you can feel how it changes things completely. Now you're really hitting those four corners.
Notice a lot more stuff kind of engaging,
and you can feel, like, for example, you can work down. So now I can work a series of things where I say for example, I want to work a cross-body rip. Okay, so now I can work exactly. You can take it and you've got resistance in that downward plane. If I want to do the same thing up, right? All right, so you can So you can you can work high. You can work a series high. You can work a series that goes high and then low and then high. Again, working a lot of different angles, cross-body. One of the things interesting when you're doing cross-body work, here I'm just going to move this around here a bit. There we go. Give myself a little more resistance. One of the interesting things about working cross-body work is foot position. So there's two things interesting. If you're going to work, so this rotational thing, if you open up the front foot, obviously you can give yourself more range of motion, right?
Yeah.
More rotation. So that's a very interesting thing. And then if you bring the back foot, rotate the back foot, obviously now you're throwing your hip into it. So it's important to be mindful, I think, when you're working to either what am I training here? Oh, I want to get that. I want to throw that hip. Get that rotation, throw that hip. Or do I want to be more core centric instead of throwing the hip? This is more challenge on the core because you're not firing that posterior chain of the leg to help drive this around. Now it's all coming from here. That's right. So keeping that back foot planted is going to change again. It just changes the nature of the work. This changes, obviously, the range of motion. And then if you want to move both, now we're talking agility, you know? Yeah, so footwork, connection to the ground, really fundamental. Now, one of the things you'll notice here, in my high-low anchor here, I've got the handles in the middle here. I'm restricted a little bit in terms of how I can move that handle. In your situation, you've got the capability of, in fact, because of the way this is anchored, you can actually work. Yeah. That is really tasty resistance you got going on there. He gave you the good.
Pretty good. I'm working.
That's a good resistance. So with this type of setup, obviously now you can work. There's integrating core into a drive, right?
Yeah.
And as Vishal will attest, this is enough resistance. This is, if I come out far enough, I'm into 1 rep max territory. I mean, there's no, really? Like,
it's tough.
So, standing core, working the 4 corners is really nice. If you've got the high-low anchor, you can work this cross body in a lot of different ways. Again, your pal-off press ideas start to get quite interesting because you've got this different resistance in the high-low. So, the idea of the handle with the two of these bands, these round rubber bands that lots of folks have, that really changes this tool and makes it really massively functional for resisted movement training.
Yeah.
And obviously the force band's made for it. Yeah. Nice, brother. Listen.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for watching the video.
Thank you guys.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, cheers.
Thanks.
Put me to work today.
Yeah.